Oops. Hello everybody, this is Cantaloupe Me. I'm submitting my submission for Predator on the NES for AGDQ 2020. Let's get to the start of it. Okay, this was a run I got last year when I broke the 17-minute barrier. It's this game I'm pretty much submitting for Alpha Block, but in a race with Death Taxes, who is submitting this game, who is the record holder as of right now. He took it, I think it was about 8 months ago, something like that. But it's a very short platformer based on the movie-ish. There isn't, it's not flashy, but it's got some really strange controls. They could be a lot better. I would describe it as ice physics the whole time. And, Arnold in a, pink jumpsuit, I mean, that's something you don't see every day. You also can jump through floors and fall through floors at randomly, but we know how to avoid that in the speedrun. Lots of damage boosting for optimal movement. But in a race scenario with Death Taxes, there's very minimal RNG in this run. So it would be a very competitive race. And the background noise, that's my air conditioner. It's a little bit humid today. But this is where the difficulty really ramps up. This level right here, these vertical stages are probably the worst. I've tried to get over that wall to the right. You just can't do it. And also you need the laser, which is at the bottom. But you do have many Predator fights throughout the game. And this is the first of... I forgot exactly how many, but I think there's 7 or 8 mini ones. Thankfully, if you fall, you don't die. You just go down the screen, but, it's just time loss. And these are the mini Predators that look like Ninja Turtles from the NES game. 15 shots and they're dead. But of course, the best part about Predator is the glorious Big Mode. Yep. There's 5 of these in the run. They're about a minute each. But, yeah. It's Big Mode. It's sort of an auto-scroller. You could speed it up a little bit, but, the cool things at the end, you actually fight a full-body Predator. Not just a little tiny one. And the Predator fights in these do use gimmicks from the movie somewhat. Like his cloak for invisibility, how he sort of blends in with the environment. That's what this fight is supposed to represent-ish. But yeah, there's several routes in this game you can do. It's just not straightforward platforming. There's a door down here. There's also a door up the very top. And you can do the stages in a different order, but it turns out the fastest stage is to do for the speedrun. Do not utilize the grenade item, because there's some backup stages that you will do that uses that grenade right there. And you have to blast through the floors, and it is incredibly slow. So, thankfully, there is a route that's grenadeless. And I want to say Slaughterhouse Rocks was the one that, that's who I first saw running this game. I played this game a lot as a kid, and I just wanted to, get better at it, 'cause it annoyed me as a kid. And what's funny in the task to this game, you can do left plus right and hit A or B and skip all the platforming stages and play big modes only. It was, I guess they left in as like a debug feature. They never thought anybody would find that. Well, they did. So yeah, that was a thing. But obviously we can't do that on console. Normally you could see these sprites better, but I'm using an RGB NES, and there's a palette swap, and I used it for this run. So it's a little hard to see some of the background items. But here's the Predator fight. Yeah, they're, 9 hits and they're 8 hits and he's dead. But yeah, Death Taxes and I, we've been running this game for a while. Not like super actively since he got his very low, I think he's got like a 1623-ish, I think, something like that. Or 33, I cannot remember, but this was the first sub-17 run with the newer strats. The record before this was by Slaughterhouse, and it was 1722 for years. But, here's a zip. That's the only time you'll see that. And this is where the game gets really difficult here. You have to take this bottom route that makes no sense. You can do wall jumps, but not off rounded walls like that, or else we would just do that. But there's wall jumps later in the game. And here's another Predator fight. And big mode number 3. Now there's more than 5 big modes, but in this game, in this route, you will only see 5 at a time, but there's actually 7. The Famicom version actually has an extra platforming stage in the beginning. It looks like a Kaizo stage. It's really weird. But obviously we wouldn't be doing that version just for simplicity. It also starts off with big mode as well. So it's definitely a longer version, which is rare because you don't see extra levels in the US version of games too much. Now this is one of the biggest RNG elements. This Predator will not spawn until you destroy so many orbs. Orbs. So yeah. But he doesn't move, that's supposed to be the little, tracker beam he uses for his laser, but, you gotta use your imagination a bit. "13's another stage with branching paths, but, obviously we're, taking the top one, because it's faster. If you fall down, it's actually quicker to die and redo the stage than it is to go through that bottom door and do the levels from there on in. So if you're falling, it's you didn't climb back up, but if you're about to die, just die. Now this is another difficulty as hell stage. You need to stay on the bottom to go the fastest, and you gotta hesitate after the scorpion here, or else that guy will sometimes knock you off. He's not always there. Sometimes he is, sometimes he isn't. Yeah. And this is big mode 5. You notice we skipped big mode 4 because that's on one of the alternate routes. Yeah, so if you took out the big modes, the game would probably be 5 minutes shorter, but they had to do something to extend the game to warrant the cost of it. I mean, Arnold Schwarzenegger is on the cover of the cartridge. And it's actually a good representation of the Predator movie box, unlike other ones that he's done. But you know. And this is the floating Predator. No RNG at all, same fight every time. He has iframes, and you just gotta hit him as soon as the iframes go away. Now this segment coming up here, it has a Predator fight, but after it does not go to big mode like it usually does. In fact, you get 2 of the shortest stages in the game, followed by the hardest stage in the game, which is actually stage 25. It is very unfair. You know. But usually if you die, yeah, 24s just fall down to the right side. That's all you gotta do here. But 25, it has a really strange gimmick, as you'll see, but it's difficult. This is usually where we lose runs, if we do. These platforms are hard to see if you don't know they're there. And this is where the stuff gets a little silly. That floating thing there, we're supposed to stay on this because there's a pit we cannot jump over. So we have no choice but to ride this. Yep. Easy to fall off there. Yeah. Now you can do a wall jump into that. Before this run was made, there is a setup for it now that Death Taxes came up with. But at the time of this run, I did not know it. And this is the last big mode. Nice black background here. Yeah, but this is one of the games I put a lot of work in the routing part of it. Changed a lot of things, and you know, a lot of it's like the standard. But to be honest, there isn't a lot of competition in this game. Death Taxes and I, we've pretty much taken the game down. This is the acrobatic Predator. He really wanted to join the Olympics, but as you can see, he doesn't know how to land a flip. And those little droplets that fall on the screen, they restore your health. Okay. This stage is not too bad. The route I usually take is the bottom, but the pattern did not allow it, so that was one unfortunate thing with this. But, you know, there's options in this stage. And then this section right here. You can ride the flashing scorpions. But we got a few of these little floaty small predators. They're pretty easy to fight. Death Taxes has a strat where you can get an extra hit per jump. I did not utilize it in this run. Now they give you a really easy stage before it really hits the fan. And how Arnie does not break his legs, we'll never know. Now, we need that laser, but the game intends you to go all the way to the right. Then go back left. Now, we just jump on that. That saves quite a bit of time. I would say, let's see. I'd say like 10 seconds. That thing takes 4 health away. That's why I did not opt for the damage boost. Also, you get knocked back too, so it's better just to wait. Now, this Predator fight is one of the silliest ones. You need to stay on the right side of him. That bird, as you can see, he's dropping stuff, and he will land it on you unless you're under the ceiling. Now, the final stage of the game, it takes a whole different approach than what the rest of the game did for boss fights. Every time we've seen the Predator, it's either been the small sprite or big mode. Well, we get to see a different Predator fight here. And say hi. Yep. We're not playing Zombie Nation. This is the Predator fight. You know, exactly as it happened in the blockbuster film. So, there's 2 phases. Mask on, mask off. First phase is really easy. His hitbox is gigantic. Takes 20 hits. Now this section. What's so difficult about this fight, his hitbox is only active when his mouth is open. So you'll see some shots go right through him. But 20 hits on each phase. But estimate for this run, 19-20 minutes, fairly safe, fairly marathon safe, and here's the end of the run. Yep. Very marathon safe. So, but anyway, thank you for reviewing it. Hopefully y'all accept this along with the other games, and, submitted so far, take a look at them. And, we'll see what happens with it. If you all want to accept this into the marathon, we'll put on a good show for you, and we'll raise some money for a great charity. So thank you all very much, and have an awesome day.